Guys, if you like making money, which I know you do not want to miss this one. In today's episode, we are discussing the 10 essential things that you must have inside of your truck at all times. And guys, this list is by no means in order of, let's say, importance of any kind. In my book, all of these things are extremely important for different reasons. So, jumping right in, of course, you're going to have a toolbox. We picked this up inside, I think it was Lowe's. I mean, you know, get yourself a good toolbox. We keep about 30-40 different things in here. Now, for the purposes of this video, we're not going to go into every single thing that we have inside our toolbox. However, if you guys do want to see, you know, us do that, just let me know in the comments section below, you know, that you want to see an episode with our toolbox, everything that we have in there. But I will show you guys this one thing that we keep in here that is extremely important, perhaps the most important thing that you can have in here. So what we have in this little bag, and I'll show you guys this right here. You can see this is where we got this. It says hook pick set on there. You can see that. We got this at Harbor Freight, guys. So this is very important, and we keep them in this bag right here. You can see we have a bunch of O-rings in here. And what these O-rings are for is for, you know, all your fittings, you know, fittings at the end of the hose, fitting at the end of the wand. They all have, you know, they have that O-ring in there. And when that O-ring breaks or it goes bad, guys, there's no way to put that O-ring back in there or put a new one in there without that hand tool. So it costs like $2-3 at Harbor Freight, and we always have like 2 or 3 of them in each toolbox. But very important. It's one of those things you gotta have it, because you know you never know how much you need it until you don't have it. Moving on in our list, number 2, the blue tape, painter's tape. You guys see that? It's the thick roll. We just get this at Lowe's. We buy, I don't know, we buy like 15 packs at a time. I think they come in packs of 4 or 5. But anyway, all of our videos, all of our episodes where you guys have seen us do house washes, you see that we cover up all the outlets. We cover up Ring cameras, Verizon boxes. This is essential for your home protection, for you know, making sure you're not going to trip the person's Verizon box or their breaker box. Now, moving on, the next one on our list is actually related to this. You have, see this box over here, guys? It says 42-gallon contractor bags. You see that? So the contractor bags are very important as well, because this is how we cover, you know, of course you've seen in some of my episodes that, you know, I have that Verizon box cover. You know, it's not, we're not always able to use it because sometimes the space, it doesn't allow for it. But that's what we have the contractor bags for. Now, those contractor bags, guys, they're not just useful for that. We also, there's sometimes you run into plants that you can't move because they're too heavy. So what do? We cover this plant. We just did a job a couple days ago, and we were doing the woman's pool patio. She's selling her house. She had these planters, guys. Oh my God, these things must have weighed 150 pounds each. And we had about 8 bags, and we just boom, 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 cover the plants. Gotta make sure you do that plant protection. Extremely important. And in the lines of that, you have this. You see that, guys? I got this at Tractor Supply. So this is a 12 by 16 tarp. You know, guys, I mean, you're going to be going out there when you're doing soft washing or downstreaming. You know, that chemical, it will kill plants if you leave it on there. But this is why it's important. Sometimes, we just did a house about 2 weeks ago, and on the woman's deck, she had, I'm sure you guys seen this before, she had those massive, she had like, what is it called, cilantro and things like that, like a little vegetable garden. There was no way, even with 2 people, no way you're moving that. And this was a 2-story deck. So what do? I always keep 2 of these I put one unopened bag underneath the seat, and then we have an open one that goes in the back of the truck here inside the truck. So we took our 2 tarps, we put it right over all her vegetables, no problem, and then you can spray. If you get chemical on people's plants or vegetable gardens, that stuff will be dead. Okay, moving on. This, I think I've mentioned this before. It is by far one of the most important things that you can have in your truck. You see that, guys? Gorilla Tape. Now, this Gorilla Tape here is just, man, it is so universal. It is easily, and I'm saying easily, 10 times stronger than, let's say, duct tape. But I've used this for all kinds of purposes. I've used it on tools, I've used it on wands, I've used it on hoses, on fittings, on things that, you know, start to get loose and I'm in the field and I don't have time to, you know, fix in that moment. This will really get you out of a jam. And here at the shop, guys, we use this for all kinds. I probably have 100 uses or more every month for this thing, and I keep about 8 or 9 rolls of this here at the shop. But in the truck, every single one of our trucks has this black tape. This is very important. Now, moving on to, we're already at, ooh, excuse me, guys. We're already at number 6 on our list of 10. Okay, so in this little box here, guys, if you can see, I actually picked this up. I ordered this on Amazon. It's for the iPhone. Most of my guys have iPhones, but the guys that don't, they have a separate charger. This is for your iPhone. This is 32 watts. It costs like 40, 50 bucks. I want to say it was 50 bucks. But anyway, this thing will charge your phone in less than an hour, guys. Super quick. Do not, guys, do not have a charger in your truck that is that cheap stuff that you get at 7-Eleven, for example, because one, it fries your batteries. And when you guys get to the point where you're growing your company and you're taking on employees and things of that nature, you want to be able to communicate with your guys. So what we do is, not only do we have a charger in a truck, but we have a brand new one that's always in the glove compartment. The reason why we've done that through the years, a guy will call you and say, hey, my battery's about to die and the charger in the truck is not working. Then the guy's hustling out in the field trying to find the charger, and now he's late to the job. Guys, if you want to make good money in this business, okay, and there's a lot of money to be made in this business, you have to be prepared. I always say, I love that saying, you know, always plan for the best, but be prepared for the worst. And that's why you want to make sure you have a charger and a backup charger inside your vehicle at all times. And then also, guys, this is actually our backup wand. Now, why do we have a backup wand? Well, it's obvious. I mean, we never know when these things went bad are gonna go bad. As a matter of fact, when was it? A couple of days ago, we had one where the trigger was no longer working. It just, it was like, the guy called me, he was at his 3rd house, and he's like, hey, my gun won't work anymore, the trigger won't work. And in the back seat, it wasn't this truck, but it was a downstreaming truck, but in his back seat, behind the driver's seat, boom, there was one of these tucked in there. I told him, and by the way, your backup wand is going to be the same as your regular wand. You do not want a cheap backup wand. You guys notice I have a super swivel on this wand, and this is a $100 wand. So, you know, $100 gun. You don't want cheap backup stuff. So, you know, we always keep an extra wand because, again, you do not know when this stuff is going to break, when it's going to go bad. You got chems, you got parts in here that no matter how awesome you are at rinsing stuff, eventually these parts are going to go bad on you. So you want to make sure at all times, at every single day, every single truck, you always take a backup wand with you. And as a matter of fact, we also have a wand that's just a gun, you know, without the actual wand. So we have multiple guns on the truck with us at all times. This is another thing. Now we're at number 8, okay? Guys, you always want to make sure every single one of my trucks has a backup downstream injector. And that's obvious, right? Now, we clean out our injector at every single house that we go to. And I think I said this in episode 2. There's one of our trucks, the injector is 18 months old on there. But guess what? He's got to carry this one because we don't know. That thing can go bad like that. I've had injectors go out on me after a week or two. And this one here, 18 months. So it can go to both extremes. So we always make sure that we got an injector on the truck ready to go. Okay, so you guys see that? Chemical injector. The ones that we use here, Mr. Bubbles, is 2.3. If you're using a 2.1 or 1.8, whatever, but you just make sure at all times you have a chemical injector with you at all times. There you go. So then moving on, I don't know if you guys seen this before. I'm not sure. I really haven't heard guys talk about these. And this is that you know, what I told you that not everybody has in their truck. Now, I am not a music guys, and this is where I got this, guys, at Lowe's. You can see it right there. I picked this up at Lowe's. I think it costs like 70 or 80 bucks, and I keep 2 in the truck. I have one always charging. So this is a wireless headset. Guys, this is great. It's a noise cancellation. You can see this thing has dirt and has all kinds of mud, and it gets chemical on it. And I've had this one here for a little over a year. And I'm not a music music guy, but I absolutely love listening to podcasts. And so, you know, I listen to Joe Rogan, and I love listening to stand-up comedy. Like, guys, I'll be washing houses all day, and I'll just be laughing my butt off listening to stand-up comedy. So, you know, this to me, guys, is like, if I go out in the field and I don't have this, I actually go back to the shop. Or I've even gone out of my way to go to a Lowe's to pick one up, because I do not like going into the field at all without this, because it's more entertaining for me, and it makes it a little bit more, you know, my day flow a little bit better. But also there's a secondary reason. If you guys are still in the field, and like, for example, you're picking up the phone, which a lot of you guys listening to this episode are, you want to make sure that you don't miss any calls. And then with this, you hear the phone, because a lot of times if your phone's in your pocket and you're washing, you're not going to be able to hear the vibrating and all that. You're just not going to get to it. But with this, I'm able to you know, hear that somebody is calling me. So this is a great, and this to me is an absolute must-have. So moving on our list here, guys, number 10 things that, you know, you should have in your truck at all times. If you guys can see that, okay, guys, stop using business cards. You see the before and after pictures here, before and after. You know, we put pictures here of the different things that we do, and we put pictures there of, you know, of those individual services. Now, these are 6x9 EDDM postcards. You see the space there for the EDDM? We do send these out via mail also, but we don't have business cards. We stopped using business cards a long time ago. So when somebody walks up to one of our trucks, we give them these. Now, I'm going to put the link down below where we get these. We order 10,000 at a time. I'm also going to put the website right here for you guys. It's called cheapdoorhangers.com. Now, we pay about, I want to say, well, the last time that we ordered was in the beginning of this year. You know, prices of stuff changes all the time. But we paid like 800 bucks for 10,000. And, you know, when we're down to a box, we'll order another 10,000. But, you know, if you're starting out 10,000, I mean, I would order 5,000 that will last you all year. This is very important because, one, you know, it helps with the image of what you're doing. It helps in the sales because, you know, you got pictures there. But also, you know, you want to have these in a truck because it's professional when people come up to you. But one of the things that's most important in the marketing aspect of it, guys, whenever you're at a house, you're doing a house, it's way easier to pick up the neighbor than to pick up a random house somewhere else in another neighborhood, because you're already in that neighborhood, you're already right there, and the neighbor right next door is already seeing the quality of your work, right? So I suggest you have, you know, a couple hundred of these with you at all times. and you're going to do what's called the 5 rounds, right? You're going to put one of these. So you go to do a house, you're going to put one of those at the house to the left, the house to the right, and the 3 houses in the front. That's going to really, really, really up your sales. It's going to help you pick up a lot of customers. Again, that's called 5 rounds. So there you go. You want to make sure that you have all of these with you inside of your truck at all times. And guys, the bonus one, these are 10 things. This is going to be your bonus one, but guess what? It's also your tip of the day. It's this. Of course, y'all know what this is, right? Your J-Rod. Yes, your J-Rod. You want to make sure that, you know how many times, I'm sure this has happened to you guys as well. How many times has it happened where you got out to the field and you realize you didn't have a J-Rod with you because you left it in your pants and it's sitting in your hamper or sitting in your laundry room at home? How many times? I'll be the one to raise my hand and tell you that I've lost count how many times that has happened. So in order to fix the problem, I will have at least 2, if not 3 of these with me at all times. And yes, I know about the black tip and the blue tip and the pink tip, but I stopped using that stuff a long time ago. You want to make sure that, you know, if you want to make what professionals make, you got to play the part of a professional. So you got to make sure that you always have professional grade equipment with you, and then also backup professional grade equipment with you. And like I said, guys, this business, there's a lot of money to be made in it, but you got to be prepared. You got to get out there. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to have the right tools when you need it. Because you know how Murphy's Law works, guys. Like, if you're not prepared, the worst stuff is going to happen to you all the time. You don't want to be going out in the field and driving all over looking for a charger for your phone, for example, and the customer's waiting for you, but your phone's about to die and you don't have GPS just because you don't have a backup charger in your truck. And then, you know, honestly, guys, like the Downstream injector is a great example, right? Are you going to buy this at Lowe's? Of course not. So you want to make sure you keep a couple of these in the truck. You know, if you're doing a house that's an hour and a half away and you get there and your injector goes bad, well, you know, you want to make sure you have this in your truck. You can't just pick this up somewhere. So there you have it, guys. I really want you guys to be prepared. Run a solid, a fluid business where you got money coming in because you got your thumb on the pulse of the situation. And thank you very much again for coming today and watching this video. And I really, really, really appreciate you. Guys, I highly recommend you guys watch the next episode. In the next episode, I actually did a deck. Man, wow, a wooden deck. This thing was green. I mean, it was green. It's one of the worst decks I've ever seen. And you guys are going to get to see how we at Mr. Bubbles soft wash a wooden deck. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bubbles out.